Come on in. It's Soulful Saturday. Who's in the house? Here we come. I see people. Very quiet people. People walking in, but people not saying anything. Who's there? Say hello. There's my girl, Cassie. Yay! You're the first one to say anything. Hi, Doris. Hi, Jackie and Kathy. Good to see you. Hi, Sammy. Angie's here. Yoli from South Africa. Hello, Rebecca. Hello. Rebecca, Arla. Who else is here? Tina, Jennifer, Joanne. Hello. Hello, hello. Hi, Corky. I'm glad you're here. Good to meet you. Hi, Jillian. Melody. I'm so glad to see you. Sandra. Joanne is here. Hi, Corliss. And there's our girl, Jenny. Hi, Maggie. Deborah's in the house. You're looking forward to the sprint, Sammy? So am I. We're going to talk a little bit about it today. Susan's here. Hello, Susan. Who else is here? Who else is going to say hello? Well, I'm just glad you're all here. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's Saturday. That means it's Soulful Saturday. And, I was thinking about all the different things, about all the moving parts that we have with just doing this, right? Just doing this whole sprint that's coming up. And I wanted to talk about being willing to be willing, because a lot of times we bring with us, when we're trying to attempt something new, we bring with us all of our reasons why we can't. And I think that's a huge mistake, and I think it holds us back from really attaining the life we want to lead, especially getting to the place of being able to do it, faster. We can't do it fast if we're constantly fighting ourselves. Amen. Anybody else out there who does that? Hi, Heidi, Susan, and Lucy. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. Juanita's here too. Good morning, she says. Well, that's because she's on the West Coast. Anyway, so as you know, today is Saturday. It's Soulful Saturday. We're going to talk about a little bit about our hearts, our souls, our beautiful selves, how sometimes we struggle with just being really true to ourselves, and we oftentimes work off of fear instead of working off of the things that we want. I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. Nancy, Nancy, we're gonna talk about some things that maybe you can be able to apply to that particular thing. It's never fun going to any place where it's scary, is it? It's never. And a lot of times for us, the unknown is just scary. Scary equals unknown. Unknown equals scary. That's how our brains see it. And sometimes we just need to convince them to calm down and to work with us. We're going to be talking about that today. I just think that's such an important topic. And it does help move the needle on our lives, because it helps us to become braver, and it helps us to become women who understand that doing something new doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go off the rails and it's going to be like a free fall into the unknown. That's not true. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We are starting, as you know, the sprint on Monday. That starts this Monday. Now, I am going to tell you to go and watch our webinar, savingdinner.com/burn, because in it, you're going to get a bunch of freebies. We've got a food journal, a hydration schedule, everything that you need, tools to help you with this journey, because we are going to be starting this 7-day journey, and I want to make sure you're equipped and ready to go. This whole thing I go through probably takes me about a half hour, 45 minutes to go through and to chunk through it and make sure that you understand the reasons why we're doing it, and it takes some of the unknowns out of it, okay? So that's pretty cool. savingdinner.com/burn. You'll get the guide there. You'll get the hydration schedule, the food journal, which we usually charge for, by the way, so it's a freebie. All of this stuff, and it just really breaks it all down. I don't know about you, but sometimes I need things in bite-sized pieces so I know what to do next. And that's exactly what I did with this. I wish I'd done it, months and months ago, because there's a lot there. It is a simple program, but on the other hand, there's a lot to process, right? So this will make a big difference for you. savingdinner.com/burn, so you learn exactly what to do and how to do it. And, there's an offer in there, of course, for the kits. You're not going to get them in time. I will keep the discounts going and the free shipping and all of that. You'd probably get it midweek. But the point is just letting you know, there's no way we could possibly get that to you in time. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. I still want you to go and get yourself a good education so you know what to do. Friday is Q&A. This question and answer this last Friday was kind of sparse. So send your questions in to support@savingdinner.com, and in that subject line, put question for Leanna on Friday. I'll get to it and answer it next Friday for you so that you have everything that you need. We all have questions about nutrition. I have questions about nutrition all the time. I have a few friends that I tap for my nutrition questions or asking certain things when I don't quite understand things. I do have an advantage over you because I did go and learn about a lot of this stuff, got my certification as being a nutritionist in the 90s, ladies, in the 90s. But it's continuing ed for sure, always, always, always. And there's so much to learn. Did you know nutrition is a constantly changing and evolving science? It's never going to stay the same. There's going to be something new to supplant and replace old information, and thank God, right? Because some of the science is some of it's so antiquated, and I just keep waiting. When are they going to get rid of this and get something new in? But we'll see. This is just how it works. We have, what else was I going to tell you about? We got all of that. You guys have everything that you need. We have a new quote of the week that I think is really insightful. I think you'll like this one. It is, man cannot, there's something on my screen. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. That's from André Gide. I had to look up how to say his name. He's a French author, humanist, and he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. I think it was in the 30s or 40s. He passed in the early 50s. But André Gide, what a good word that is. Think about it right now. You have to lose sight of the shore in order to discover something new about yourself. So I think this really works well with what we're going to be talking about today. Our supplement of the week is our multivitamin. Yes, we have a multivitamin. This is the thing. This is something you guys have been asking for forever. If you buy 3, we will throw a 4th one into your cart, absolutely free. So it's buy 3, get 1 free. And also, if you put in the promo window as you're checking out, ships free, all one word, we will also pay for the shipping on that. That's a screaming deal. And if you decide to put a few more things in there, this mindful mug will be yours. Isn't it so cute? Mindful mug, Pinky's Up cup. We use this as a tool for a cup of bone broth before our meals. And you know what that helps us do? That helps us to stay centered on what it is that we're going to be doing. Enjoying our delicious delicious food, and just being very mindful of that Target trifecta plate. It just makes such a difference. We have to stop the automatic pilot. Automatic pilot is fine for cleaning toilets. It's not for when we're sitting in front of a beautiful plate of food, right? We don't want to shovel it in. That's my problem. I'm a big eater. If I'm given my druthers, I'll just go crazy. But we just need not to do that unless we're going to go out and sling an axe all day like a lumberjack, which we're not. So, let's be a little bit mindful of all of that. So we're talking today about being willing to be willing. And I say this because oftentimes I will see, as we are getting ready for the sprint, I see fear pop into our Facebook group, and fear start to rule the day. Well, it's just so much. It's all this and it's that and it's overwhelming. This is one of the reasons why I did the webinar, so that I could give you some information to help you with all of it. Because honestly, it helps. Look at that. Arla already got her hot melt sprint package today. That's pretty cool. Yeah, of course you did. Because you were there, you did put your order in, and this is going to help. And as an emotional eater, understand, I am an emotional eater, I'm a stress eater, I'm in any emotion. Give me an emotion, I will find a reason to eat. You know, it's just that. I'm just addicted to food. I love food. Look at what I did. My whole career has been food. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a cookbook author. It's food, food, food all the way. I love food. But, you know, unfortunately, too much food doesn't love you back. It just doesn't. And, you know, you have to understand something. It's inflammatory when we eat too much, even if it's good stuff. When we're strapping on the feed bag and we're ignoring our hunger hormones, boom shakalaka, down the hole we go. So, yes, you eat when you're emotional. You're not an emotional eater. Very good word from Jenny. That's a very good word. But we all have a tendency to do that, don't we? We identify with what it is that we do. And then therefore, we say that's who we are. And it is, in fact, just a behavior. It isn't who we are. That is not the core of who we are. The core of who we are is incredible. We are wonderfully and fearfully made. Let's not forget that. And let's not forget that we are all here on a purpose with a mission from God. And that is enough. That is enough right then and there. So when we start putting these labels on ourselves, God's like, what are you talking about? That's not who you are. Who you are is you're incredible. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. In my image, I might add, you know. And all this junk that we put on ourselves is just junk we put on ourselves. Yeah, maybe we have a couple of behavioral things we need to deal with. But who we are, at the core of who we are, let me just tell you, lovelies, you are very lovely. You're beautiful. And you have all kinds of gifts to offer this world. And you're here, right? You're here to learn about them. And as we can start putting some of this stuff behind us and start understanding that we are feeding our souls, not just our bodies, not just this hole, which is a pit, you know, we're not here to just do that. We're here to be fueled for this incredible life that we've been gifted with. You hear me? Gifted. So I want to talk about what willingness is, because being willing to be willing is the thing that starts to knock down some of the walls, some of the protections that we put around ourselves, because we're afraid. What are we afraid of? Anything. Something new. We're afraid of being out of our comfort zone. We're afraid of, you know, somebody saying something to us. We're afraid of this, afraid of that, getting out of our usual normal routine. We're afraid of change. Name that tune. Where's your afraid? We all have it, right? But when we say, you know what, that's not a good enough excuse anymore. I want to be willing. I want to be willing to be willing so that I can learn something new. When we have that kind of an attitude, our worlds open up. Instead of having this itty bitty teeny tiny little spot on the globe that we live in, which is getting smaller and smaller by our fears and our things that we think are going to be so hard, instead of doing that and saying, you know what, I'm willing to be willing. I'm willing to see what this is about. I'm willing to try this. I'm willing to test the waters. The world starts to open up, and our minds start to open up, and our empathy starts to open up, and there's kindness abounding. Because we see, you know, you just turn on the news, you can see it. You can see how just strident everything is out there, and how militant some of these folks are, and how they divide and keep us aside and hurt us. So this is the thing that we have to be looking at, because really what we're after here, what we're after is a life that we want to lead, a life that's vibrant, and a life that is going to give us the connections that we want with our community, with our family, with ourselves, and with our God. We can't do that if we are left in a place of fear, if we're staying just comfortable and just away from everything and not willing to be willing. Willingness is the key that opens the door. It is. It gives us an opportunity to see things we may have never seen before. It's like giving somebody a passport and saying, hey, go check out this foreign country and see how they live, you know? I one time was talking to somebody who had never been anywhere and never been to any foreign country or whatever. And you know, this person said to me, I said, well, why, you know, get your passport, go see the world. You know, I knew they had plenty of money and all of that. And they said, well, how can I do that when I haven't seen all of the United States? And I said, I don't know, but wouldn't it be fun? I mean, do you have to see the United States first? Let's open the door to new understanding. I will tell you, traveling is something that, I mean, I have a big travel bug. I love to travel. I love to go into foreign countries. I want to go off the beaten path. I want to do what everybody does. As a matter of fact, I could be very happy being nomadic for like a year and just going wherever the wind shifts me. I would love it. Because every time I've gone to a foreign country, I've learned something new. I've learned, like when I was in England, I learned all about, this is how you roll when you're English. And also my cousins were there and I learned all about my family. I got to see places and do things that I would have never been able to do here. It opened my mind. Same thing when I went to Ireland. Oh gosh, it was just incredible. When I went to France, I think I've told you this story, but it's worth a tell again because you want to hear about willing to be willing. Do you know how badly I wanted to go to France? I took French for 4 years in high school. 4 years. I took some in college. I wanted to learn French. I wanted to be bilingual in French. Beautiful language. I had a pretty good ear for it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. So you know what happened? In 2015, I finally decided I am not waiting for somebody to take me to France. Now, I talk about getting out of your comfort zone, but willing to be willing. I said, I'm going to France by myself. And I did. I bought a plane ticket. I had all these points because when I buy stuff, this is back then, when I was buying my supplements and what have you, I was buying them on my credit card and I was tacking up all the points. So all of those points, I had never touched them. I had over 1 million points. So I redeemed them for a trip to France and I went first class to France. First class. You can't imagine. All by my little own self. I just had a blast. I did a little Duolingo, learning some French, and although I was just like super intimidated when I got there, and I was just like, merci, pretty much, just a little worried I could pick up things, but I did it by myself. I went to France by myself. I've never been to a movie by myself, y'all. Never been to a movie. But I was willing to be willing to see, you know what, can I travel by myself? I want to see this. I want to experience this. I want to be in the south of France. I want to visit these wineries. I want to see how food is growing. I want to see how the open markets are. I want to try all these different things. And I did it. I sure did it. I was prepared. I was safe. I did the right things. I also did a little river cruise, so I had a very secure place to go. And all these women, there was a bunch of travel agents who went there. You came alone? And I was like, yeah, I did. I didn't go to Paris by myself, but Mark and I are going to go to Paris. I told him I want to go and kiss somebody I've always wanted to go to Paris and kiss underneath the Eiffel Tower. So that's going to be, and get a picture. So romantic. Willing to be willing. Willing to do something that's way outside of your comfort zone. You think that was outside of my comfort zone? You'd better believe it. Outside of my comfort zone. But you know what I learned? So much about myself. I learned that I was stronger than I thought I was. I learned that I had the courage. I learned that I was willing to stretch so that I could have this experience. Excuse me. So I say to you, are you willing to put yourself out there a little bit, stretch, to have an experience, I'm going to tell you something. When you do, when you just say it, even saying it, I'm willing. You can pinky up me on that one if you're willing. Because willing is the thing that opens the door. It's the key that opens the door to everything. To everything. All the things that you want. Because beyond that door is a life that you can only imagine. But you can't do it doing the same things that you've always done. You can't stay put. You got to be willing. So how do we do that? First of all, you got to break down that ego, for heaven's sakes. We have this, this knowingness or this know-it-allness. Today on Marla's show, I was watching it, and some woman decided she was going to be in. I guess she's gone to the school of. She's gone to the Facebook School of Medicine and has decided that she's an infectious disease specialist, and started talking about why it's so worthless to wear masks and it doesn't protect you from anything, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, so, where did you go to school? The, Facebook School of Medicine? And I know I was being sarcastic and snarky. That was the point. But that's the whole point, is that when you become a know-it-all like that and you're just dismissive of all this stuff, that closes the door, because that's an unwillingness to learn beyond what you think you know, because you saw a couple of YouTube videos that somebody, hurry before they take them down. That's usually a sign that it's a bunch of whack job science, that's out there. And we can't do that. We have to be willing to go beyond what we think we know, and we cannot be know-it-alls. When we're a know-it-all, we can't go, we're trapped. We're stuck in know-it-all university. We're stuck. And what does know-it-all university do for you, right? It just leaves you in the spot of thinking you know everything, and nobody wants to be around you. There you go. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. So break down that ego. You don't know everything. And allow yourself to learn. Learn from somebody who knows a little bit more than you do. Keep looking. Keep expanding the borders of your heart, the borders of your mind. We expand when we're looking and we're searching. Curiosity and imagination are incredible. And, they're not just for kids. They're for us as humans. They're for us as adults to start stretching things out a little bit. And then you got to look at, what you're doing. So, for example, how many people, I just had a coaching client. I had a coaching client that I just was with. I had a few others this week. And what do? When we're sitting, I'm coaching somebody and they're saying, I want to lose weight, or I want to do this, I want to do that. What do? First thing I do, take a look at their program. What are you doing? I want to see what you're eating. I want to see how you're sleeping. I want to see what your hydration is like. What's your movement like? I'm going to ask you a mazillion questions. And this is something that you can do for yourself. It's a little self-coaching, is start asking yourself the question, am I getting the results? Excuse me. Excuse me. If I'm not getting results, there's something going on, isn't there? Something isn't moving the needle. Now, I'm not talking about necessarily even just weight loss, but whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. In order to figure it out, in order to self-coach, you got to look through every jot and tittle of what it is that you're doing. Everything comes under question. So, one of the things that I will do sometimes with, when it comes up in coaching, especially when I'm doing a lot of coaching with the one particular client, I will suggest a food sensitivity test. I'll suggest a lot of different things. And maybe pulling some foods out, adding some other foods in, mixing things up a little bit, just to see what's going to operationally work for them, because it is an operation. It's like figuring out what's your program. You got to break it down. That's it. You got to break it down. Oh, maybe all those snacks aren't helping. Oh, maybe you're not drinking enough water. Oh, there it is. You're not sleeping. All of these things add in, and they're parts of your program, so we can figure out where you need to go. That makes all the difference in the world. And the other thing is, let me say this, and this is why I'm telling you about the webinar, because the webinar is going to help you out. Plus, it gives you a whole bunch of tools. And the craftsman uses his tools. Would you hire a carpenter who came to your house and said, "Can I borrow a hammer?" I mean, really? This is a craftsman. This is somebody who's going to be putting kitchen cabinets into your kitchen. Don't you think they should have their tools? You need your tools too. Check on your tools and use them. Because wouldn't it just be a little bit discerning if the man came to your house and started hanging cabinets and said, I don't have a tool right now, so a hammer, so I'm just going to take my boot off and start hammering that cabinet into the wall. Good grief, no. No, Marianne, what I would suggest that you do is definitely go watch the webinar, and you will get a supplement schedule there too. The supplement schedule will tell you exactly when to take all of your supplements. But that's the whole thing. This is it right here. We have tools, but we don't use them. And one of the things that I find to be completely, mind-boggling is when I'm coaching a client and I find, one, they've never done the sprint, and I'm like, why? This is foundational to everything we do. And two, they have not been in the membership area. They don't even know how to get in there. And my membership area, I don't know, probably 40, 50 classes in there. All kinds of stuff, all kinds of tools, all kinds of teachings, all kinds of things. Use them. You can't be the carpenter that shows up without the hammer. You can't. We've got to do this right away. We've got to be the kind of people that take our tools seriously. We're craftsmen. We're trying to craft a life. You got that? You're trying to craft a life that's vibrant. You need your tools. You need your tools. You cannot hammer that cabinet into the wall with a boot. You need a hammer. And I want you to look at how you think about things. How are you thinking about things? It's too hard. It's overwhelming. I can't do it. I can't cook. All these things. You start listing all those things, and your mind will immediately say, you got it. And let's look for evidence that will support that. And as a matter of fact, every once in a while, we don't have it happen very often, but every once in a while, I'll get somebody who's a little instigator, in one of my groups. And what they're looking for is somebody else who's going to come alongside to say, you're right, it's too hard. You're right. I can't do it either. It's way too hard. It's too overwhelming. You have to do all these things. It's all the things. And when we're doing that, when we spend so much energy trying to support this, theory that we have, what are we doing? We're putting ourselves into a corner, and deciding that we're not going to do it. And we're just looking for other people to come stand in the corner with us. That's no fun. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Remember that? Don't make that decision. Don't make that decision. Don't be that person. As a matter of fact, bring them alongside and tell them, no. It's so much easier than you think. Go watch the webinar. That'll make you so much better. And you can copy off the sprint and look through it and go, aha, here we go. It makes all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. And then, for heaven's sakes, can I just say, are you ready for this? If you start with if you start with gratitude, if you start from a place of, I have absolute gratitude. I've got food in the house. I've got a kitchen to cook this stuff. I have the ability to go purchase this stuff at the grocery store. I've got this whole community that's willing to support me as I do this. What a privilege. And it doesn't cost me a dime. A dime. How can you not have that attitude of gratitude? How can you not say, this is going to be the best thing ever? I want you, when you get up in the morning and you look outside, I want you to say to yourself, this is going to be the best day ever. Say it out loud. Let your brain know what you're up to. And let's see if you don't start looking for evidence to support that. This is what we need to do in order to be willing. When we're willing, there's possibilities, all kinds of possibilities. When we're not willing, There's no possibility because you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay in your little corner, right? Not willing? No problem. You're not going to get anything either. When you're willing, there's a path. And there's a place to go. There's people to follow. There's a community that's waiting for you. When you're unwilling, there's no path because you haven't opened the door, because you're staying in the corner and you've decided no. When you're willing, you get to practice this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be given your effort. And you know what? Your effort is excellent. Even if it's half of it, you know? Your effort needs to be there though. Because when we do the work, and work again is just so important, it makes us feel like we've accomplished something. It gives us that feeling of excellence. It makes us feel we're connected. But we're not when we're unwilling. If you're willing, I want to see willing in the comments. And some pinkies. Are you willing? Are you willing to be willing? Are you willing to give it an effort? Are you willing to connect up with your sisters who said, you know, who got your back and want to encourage you and want to bring you alongside? Are you willing to be on a path of possibility? Are you willing to see what's possible and what's next? That's how I look at it. And you know, it just makes my heart soar, because it's exciting and there's just endless possibility there. Willingness is the key. Those little hinges that swing big doors, well, you need a key for it. And the key is willingness. So I'm asking you to get the key out and open up the door and let those big, little tiny hinges swing that door wide open for you. Because on the other side of that door is an amazing, vibrant life that's just waiting for you to call it. That's it. Call it out. Say, I want you. And that vibrant life's going to just go boing, 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 right into your lap, just like a dog. It's incredible. I've seen it time and time and time again. I see it with my coaching clients. I see it in this community. I see it all the time. But it doesn't happen without willingness. Willingness is everything. Willingness is open and beautiful, and it feeds your beautiful self. So be that woman. You know, our quote of the week is, man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Let's reword that, shall we? Woman cannot discover new oceans until she has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Are you willing to lose sight of the shore of your comfort, of your unwillingness? Are you willing to lose sight of that? If you are, then you're in the right place. And I'm going to tell you, on Monday, we're all going to be taking on this sprint as if it is the last thing in the whole world we're going to do. Full effort, full throttle, all the way. Are you with me? I sure hope so, because I am all in. I'm going to be in there absolutely 100% cheering you on. I cannot wait to see you be successful. So don't forget about everything that we've got going on. Don't forget, if you've already done it, if you've already done this sprint before, you don't need to go get it again. But if you want the videos and the little emails that we give every day, you need to sign up again for it. So that's how it works. I love that you're all in, Marguerite. I love to see you too, Lucy. Look at, she's swimming away from the shore as she speaks. That's so good. And you guys, you know what? We're going to do a big thing this time. I cannot wait to see the results that you get. I cannot wait to see the growth that occurs. It's time. Let's do it. Peace be with you. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.